Zorin OS 19 is shaping up to be one of the most exciting Linux desktop releases in years, and if you've been even slightly curious about the future of user-friendly Linux systems, this is something you need to pay attention to. For a long time, Linux desktops have had a reputation that swings between powerful and complicated, often praised by developers but avoided by everyday users who just want something that works out of the box. Zorin OS has always tried to bridge that gap, and with version 19, it feels like they are pushing harder than ever toward making Linux not just an alternative, but a genuine first choice for millions of people. To really understand why Zorin OS 19 matters, you have to look at what Zorin OS has been trying to do from the beginning. Unlike many Linux distributions that are built with technical users in mind, Zorin OS was designed for people switching from Windows or macOS. The goal has always been simple: make the transition to Linux as smooth and painless as possible. That means familiar layouts, intuitive controls, and a focus on stability rather than constant experimentation. With Zorin OS 19, that philosophy is still there, but everything is being refined and upgraded in ways that feel modern, polished, and surprisingly ambitious. One of the biggest things people notice right away when they use Zorin OS is the interface, and version 19 is expected to take that even further. The desktop environment feels clean and minimal, but also flexible enough to adapt to different preferences. Whether you prefer something that looks like Windows 11, something closer to classic Windows layouts, or even a macOS-style dock, Zorin makes it incredibly easy to switch between these styles. In Zorin OS 19, this customization is expected to be smoother and more responsive, with better animations and more cohesive design elements that make the entire system feel unified. Performance is another major area where Zorin OS 19 is expected to shine. One of the long-standing advantages of Linux is efficiency, and Zorin has always tried to maintain that while still offering a visually appealing desktop. With newer hardware becoming more powerful but also more demanding, optimizing performance is more important than ever. Zorin OS 19 is likely to bring improvements under the hood that make the system faster, more responsive, and better at handling multitasking. That means quicker app launches, smoother transitions, and less strain on system resources, even on older machines. Speaking of older machines, one of the most appealing things about Zorin OS is how well it runs on hardware that might struggle with modern versions of Windows. Zorin OS 19 is expected to continue supporting lightweight configurations, which is great news for users who don't want to upgrade their computers just to keep up with software requirements. This is especially important in a world where electronic waste is becoming a serious issue. By extending the life of existing hardware, Zorin OS isn't just offering a practical solution, it's also contributing to a more sustainable approach to technology. Software compatibility is always a big concern when switching to Linux, and this is another area where Zorin OS has made significant progress over the years. With Zorin OS 19, users can expect even better support for running Windows applications through compatibility layers. While it's not perfect, the experience has improved to the point where many everyday apps and even some games can run without major issues. Combined with the growing availability of native Linux software and web-based applications, this makes the transition to Linux much less intimidating. Gaming, in particular, has become a much bigger part of the Linux conversation recently, and Zorin OS 19 is stepping into that space with more confidence. Thanks to advancements in compatibility tools and support from major platforms, Linux gaming is no longer a niche hobby. Zorin OS aims to make gaming accessible without requiring deep technical knowledge. With better driver support, improved graphics performance, and easier setup for gaming tools, Zorin OS 19 could be a strong option for casual and even moderately serious gamers. Security is another area where Linux has traditionally had an advantage, and Zorin OS builds on that foundation. With Zorin OS 19, users can expect up-to-date security patches, improved privacy features, and a system that is less vulnerable to common threats compared to mainstream operating systems. For users who are concerned about data privacy and control, this is a huge selling point. Zorin OS doesn't just protect your system, it also gives you more transparency and control over how your data is handled. Another important aspect of Zorin OS 19 is its focus on accessibility. Technology should be usable by everyone, regardless of their abilities, and Zorin has been making steady improvements in this area. From better support for screen readers to customizable interface options, Zorin OS 19 aims to make the desktop experience more inclusive. This isn't just a feature, it's a philosophy that reflects a broader shift in how software should be designed. Updates and long-term support are also critical for any operating system, and Zorin OS 19 is expected to offer a stable and reliable update cycle. Users don't want to worry about their system breaking after an update or being forced to upgrade every year. Zorin OS focuses on delivering a consistent experience over time, with updates that improve the system without disrupting it. This approach makes it particularly appealing for both personal use and professional environments. The app ecosystem in Zorin OS 19 is another area worth talking about. With access to a wide range of Linux applications, along with support for Flatpak and Snap packages, users have more options than ever. Whether you need productivity tools, creative software, or development environments, Zorin OS makes it easy to find and install what you need. The software store is designed to be simple and user-friendly, which is especially important for people who are new to Linux. Cloud integration and online services are also becoming more important, and Zorin OS 19 is expected to improve in this area as well. With better support for syncing files, accessing cloud storage, and integrating with web apps, the system feels more connected and modern. This is crucial in a world where so much of our work and communication happens online. One of the more subtle but important aspects of Zorin OS is its attention to detail. Small things like consistent design language, intuitive settings menus, and thoughtful default configurations make a big difference in the overall experience. Zorin OS 19 is likely to refine these details even further, creating a system that feels polished and complete rather than pieced together. For developers and power users, Zorin OS 19 still offers the flexibility and control that Linux is known for. While the default experience is designed to be simple, the underlying system remains powerful and customizable. This means you can tweak, modify, and optimize the system to your liking without being restricted. It's a balance that not many operating systems manage to achieve. The community around Zorin OS is another factor that contributes to its appeal. A strong community means better support, more resources, and a sense of shared progress. With Zorin OS 19, the community is likely to play an even bigger role in shaping the future of the platform. Feedback from users helps guide development, ensuring that the system continues to evolve in ways that actually matter. Looking ahead, Zorin OS 19 represents more than just an update. It's a statement about where desktop computing is heading. As more people look for alternatives to traditional operating systems, the demand for something that is both powerful and easy to use is growing. Zorin OS is positioning itself as a serious contender in that space, and version 19 could be the release that pushes it into the mainstream. In many ways, the future of the Linux desktop depends on projects like Zorin OS. It's not enough to have powerful tools. Those tools need to be accessible, intuitive, and appealing to a wide audience. Zorin OS 19 is trying to achieve exactly that, and based on what we know so far, it's doing a pretty convincing job. So whether you're a longtime Linux user, someone thinking about switching from Windows, or just curious about what's next in the world of operating systems, Zorin OS 19 is definitely worth keeping an eye on. It's not just about new features or performance improvements, it's about reimagining what a desktop operating system can be. And if Zorin OS 19 delivers on its promises, it might just change the way people think about Linux altogether.